You want this comfort? We got to go back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Grange Reserve for this round 17 clash between the Kingston City and Avondale Football Club. My name's Dean Monero, alongside me, Matt Sultana. How are you, matey?
Yeah, good to be back on the live streams with you, Dean.
Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, it's first v last. Huge game for Kingston as we have a minute silence here. So, Matty, Grange Reserve tonight, high-flying Avondale in first, who haven't won in 5 games, Matty, and obviously Kingston coming off a 2-0 win over against Dandenong Thunder, should present an interesting game tonight.
Yeah, definitely an interesting game. Obviously, Avondale haven't won in their last 5 outings. It also included being toppled out of the FFA Cup at the hands of the Melbourne Knights. I know that wound is very much still open down at Avenger Park. And obviously, Kingston City did get a win against Dandenong Thunder last week away from home, which was a very important result for them because they really need to ensure that they stayed in touch with the rest of the pack. That is quickly moving up the table. Obviously, Dandenong City picked up a big win last night against Pascoe Vale, and Dandenong Thunder are currently, I believe, 1-1 with Oakley Cannon. So points is a must in the second half of the season for Kingston. They need to pick up the points regularly and stay well within touch of the pack of teams in and around that relegation battle. And, you know, as for for Avondale Heights, they're obviously trying to cement their place atop of the league and ensure that they receive a spot in the NPL National Finals. But given their recent form, I think this game is going to be a lot closer than the table predicts.
Quickly run through the lineups. In goals, we've got Satoshi. Number 5, Faisal Sakazada. Number 7, Chris Irwin. Number 9, Hernan Intrazoza. Moad Zwed, number 10. Number 11, Ali Slimanovsky. Number 13, Daniel Bennett. Number 14, Damien Iconis. Number 16, Anthony Theo, red hot form. Number 18, Anthony Cello. And number 22, AJ Fejahajic. And for Avondale, Chris Oldfield in goals, Scott Hillier, James Riccobene, Matthew Reid, Stefan Zinni, Liam Boland, Yate Towns, Sakaya, Brendan Lundy and Stefan Valentini. And tonight's referee is Jack Morgan. Matty, thoughts on the two squads?
Yeah, well, one thing for Avondale that they've enjoyed this year is not too many injuries. So it's pretty much the normal regulars that you'd expect for Avondale out there. Obviously, they do rotate the squad a little bit, especially in terms of their front third. But I think Avondale have been quite lucky compared to other teams in the competition, in fact, that they haven't had many injuries. So it's pretty much usual suspects for Avondale, but for Kingston City, there is a few new names on the team sheets and much needed a backup in terms of squad depth, which is something I think they lacked in the first half of the season.
As Lundy nearly gets in behind again, but Kingston under pressure. Romero clips it into the back post, but cleared away by Bennett. And Chalo just clears it away, and Damien Iconis will try to hold it up, but Matthew Reid wins the header. Bennett. Theo. Fantastic little bit of footwork. Tries to find Bennett, but loses possession for Valentini. Theo. Finds through the middle of the park. Enazoza finds Moad Zwed, whose first touch is poor, and Riccobene will come and clear. And Liam Boland is in behind here. But AJ Feshahachis comes across, but Sakai wins possession. Sakai tries to win a corner. Fejat keeps it in, and Kingston will clear their lines only as far as Stefan Zinni. Avondale showing onto the front foot early, Matty.
Yeah, promising signs from Avondale early on in the game in this. And Sakai, that's one player that you're going to have to watch throughout this contest. He is deadly from midfield. Obviously, his goal-scoring record in Sydney was quite formidable. I think he scored something like 35 goals in 60 games for IPL Leichhardt. So he's one player that is going to need to be kept quiet for Kingston City in this game if Kingston want to pick up some points here tonight.
Avondale come through Boland and Zinni again. And Stefan Zinni's got a bit of space inside the box. Still Stefan Zinni. Stefan Zinni shoots, but blocked by Safa Sakazada. And Ali Simlovsky will kick it straight into Stefan Zinni. Will go out for a throw-in. Avondale, a great opportunity there early.
Yeah, good opportunity there, Stefan Zinni coming down. Couldn't really get in control of that ball, but you just see how deadly his speed can be, and it's down that left-hand side. He's been busy early, so Kingston City are probably going to have to shut him down pretty quickly and keep him quiet throughout this game.
Bit of a scrap in the middle of the park. There's Wed in Cello. And Avondale win possession will go all the way back to Old Field. Hillier sends it forward. Boland gets across, but Fetchkarchich wins the header. Theo. Cello. Moad Zwed. Back to Zwed. In Cello. Still in Cello. Loses possession and Zinni wins it. Avondale can break. Boland flicks. Sakaya. And Valentini is offside. But a good bit of football there by Avondale.
Yeah, Liam Boland did well there to drop in and get on that ball and create a combination play with Sakai there, but Valentini just found himself a little bit offside in the end, and nevertheless, Kingston City will get the opportunity to regain possession here.
Fetakacic finds Irwin, who delivers it in and will win the corner, and it will be the first corner for the match for the Kingston City. Opportunity for Kingston to throw the big boys up. As we've got AJ Fetakacic and Faisal Sakazada. Obviously, both very strong in the air, Matty. Opportunity for Kingston to score.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I think Kingston have got to get back to doing, which they did do earlier in the season, is getting these early leads in these games. Early on in the season, they get an early lead and they're able to ride it out, and that's how they're picking up points. So a good start is probably needed here from Kingston.
Owen flicks, and I tell you, that's a goal by Anthony Theo, and he's on the score sheet once again here at the Grange, Matty.
Well, there you go. Getting back to things that worked earlier in the year, getting an early lead, and there you go. Anthony Theo was probably really not the best cross in the world, but a goal mouse, really a shot that a deflection, and then Anthony Theo finds himself burying the ball in the back of the net. And Kingston City with a great start here to take the lead here at the Grange Reserve, saying that they definitely needed in this contest. And for Avondale now, they've got a lift here because Kingston City have taken the lead.
Anthony Theo, what a great inclusion by Nick Tolios to bring him in midway through the year from Dandenong City. I think in his last 2 games here at the Grange, he scored 3 goals. And for someone as an attacking midfielder, it's a great record, isn't it, Matty?
Well, for someone that was stuck in the under-20s at Dandenong City, he's done quite well since moving to the Grange Reserve. You've got to wonder why he wasn't given more opportunities down at Dandenong City. But nevertheless, one club's loss is another club's gain. And for Kingston City, he's been a big gain here in the last couple of weeks.
As Rickard Banet tries a bit of combination play, but Avondale just haven't looked at themselves lately, have they?
Yeah, I think they've been a bit flat probably since they've lost that FFA Cup game to the Melbourne Knights. I think that really kicked the wind out of them. They were probably hoping to make the national stage, and they unfortunately were let down in that 2-1 loss, and they probably haven't been themselves the same since, and they've really probably lacked a little bit of form in the last couple of weeks. So Avondale need to find their form again and lift a little bit.
As Lundy delivers and Valentini headers it just wide. It was a fantastic ball in by their right back, but Stefan Valentini just couldn't put his head to it.
Yeah, crossing the box, and Valentini, an unusual suspect to find with the header, but it flashes wide as Kingston have a goal kick in the end.
Satoshi looks to take. Fantastic kick on him. Iconis does well. the shrug off Hillier. Theo. Iconis. Finds Chris Irwin, who strikes, and it's just gone over the bar. But Kingston look very dangerous in these second balls, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. Kingston doing well to pick up those second balls, and Chris Irwin's shot is over the crossbar in the end. But Kingston have looked good early in this contest and trying to pinch another goal. And another goal would, you imagine, Avondale would be in serious trouble in this game, being 2-0 down so early here against Kingston, who are really every game going out into the second half of the season and are fighting for their lives, really, to stay in the NPL 1. I'm sure they're pretty keen to stay in the competition next season.
As Valentini beats one and then flicks it in, but Stefanzini is offside. And Avondale slowly, but need to start getting that ball back on the ground and start playing a bit of their football, Matty.
Yeah, and that's what Avondale did so well in the first half of the season. They were just able to break teams down. And when you've got the quality that they do in the final third, you're able to definitely score the goals. But the goals have been lacking in recent weeks, and I think the football's dropped off recently too. So they've got to get back to doing what they were doing so well earlier in the year.
And Azoza nearly does well, but cleared by Matthew Reid, and Sakazada will just safety first and put it over the touchline. Lundy. Happy to go to Hillier. Finds Ricabene. Comes inside, but Gramero gets a little touch. You take Towns. Loses possession, and Iconis can break. Bennett. Still Bennett. Goes all the way back to Satoshi in goals. Puts his foot through it and only finds Andy Vargas on the far side. Gramero. Yete Towns. Risky ball to Matthew Reid, but he's done well to break the first line. But loses possession. Gramero. Ricabene. Hillier. And Avondale happy to keep their foot on the ball and recycle out. Lundy. Tries to find Valentini in behind. He's kept it in, but Bennett does well. Bennett kills his teammate, but Kingston manages to win possession again. Bennett, and he's had a poor first touch, and that's not the type of mistakes you want as a Kingston defender, is it?
Yeah, not type of mistakes you want to make in those areas. Liam Boland will strike the ball here, and it's a great save in the end by Saitoshi. But they're the mistakes you don't want to make, and Liam Boland there on that throw was just one-on-one with his man. You've got to get one in front, one behind there, and not allow him to turn so easily. But Saitoshi made a good save down with the bottom hand in that left corner there, as Avondale will have a corner.
Fantastic save down low to his left. Good reaction as it was coming through bodies. Delivery in. Beats Boland, but Theo clears. Zinni clips it back in. Satoshi comes and collects, and that's what you expect from your goalkeeper to command his 18-yard box, isn't it, Matty?
Yeah, and he's definitely done well since moving across from Malvern City in State League 1. And State League 1 seems in recent years to be a real hub for high-quality visa players. And Satoshi is definitely looking the goods in these early games here for Kingston City. But like I said, State League 1 really a hub for top visa players in the recent years.
Iconis flicks in Theo, and Anthony Theo's in behind. One-on-one with Oldfield, cuts it back. Can Kingston get anyone there? But Ricabene clears. And Avondale can counter through Valentini out here on the right. Stefan Valentini. First touch, but Daniel Bennett does extremely well to get back, and a fantastic challenge to put out for a corner. Just to touch the subject of State 1 being a hub for fantastic visa players, obviously Kingston have signed 2 players from State 1, obviously Satoshi and also Hernan Enstrazosa from Altona City, I believe he was at. Obviously been another good inclusion for them, haven't they? Yeah,
and Altona City have had a pretty good track record when it comes to visa players. I think last year they brought something like 20 visa players out in an attempt to win State League 1 that probably didn't go so well for them in the end. But yeah, I think high-quality visa players in State League 1 seems to be a theme, and they seem to quickly find their way into NPL 1 as Avondale have a corner here.
As Ricabene delivers. Deep. Valentini just lets it run. And we'll win a throw-in on the far side. Romero comes across the take. No. Riccobene will come and take. Boland loses possession. And Theo just... He's been everywhere at the moment. Hillier. Matthew Reid. Hillier. Romero. Happy to go back, and Avondale happy to keep possession, but Matthew Reid breaks the first line. Leaves the ball in, and Stefan Lundy is in behind. Lundy cuts it back, but Kingston with numbers. Sakai shoots, blocked, and blocked again, and Kingston with bodies in the box have done extremely well there. As Riccobene gains possession, you take Towns all the way back to Hillier and gives away a free kick. But Kingston, the desperation in their own 18-yard box is something to die for, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. They need that desperation in that box, and desperate defending is required if they want to pick up the points throughout the second half of the season. But you just see there again the dangers of Avondale and the speed that they have, not only in their front line but through their fullbacks. Lundy has been a real standout player for Avondale since moving across from IPA in the off-season, and he's really been one signing, I think, that's kind of gone under the radar with Avondale. I think he's been arguably one of their best players this season, but given he's a fullback, he's probably, as most fullbacks are, they're just not appreciated enough in football, I think.
You'd think that Avondale's both Sydney boys, obviously Sakaya and Lundy, have done extremely well to adapt to Victorian NPL, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. And given that they both came across from IPL Leichhardt, which I guess you could say maybe kind of like the Avondale of NPL New South Wales, just given that they probably have a little bit more history. But in terms of financial resources, I think they're definitely one club that recruits quite heavily over in Sydney.
As Lundy on possession finds his former teammate and current teammate, Sakaya. With a bit of space to play forwards, but happy to go back to Matthew Reid. Matty Reid, obviously, hospital ball there, but Kingston pounce, and in Cello finds Ali Slimanovsky. Tries to play it forward, but it's a bit rushed, and Hillier will regain possession. Avondale's not really looking themselves at the moment, Matty.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a lack of form and probably a bit of a lack of confidence. But they're definitely working hard and trying to make things happen. But it just isn't working out for them early on in this contest. And again, you just see the breakdown of pass there, and it just seems like a little bit of fire in the belly is lacking from Avondale.
Zinni, still Stefan Zinni, comes inside, and Chris Owen will clear. Lundy. Theo wins possession and find Bennett. He'll send it down the line, and Iconis can lock it in. But good pressure by Matthew Reid. Matty Reid was, let's say, minutes away from winning NPL 2 last year, Matty, and with Moreland City. As a player, how do you bounce back to re-find the spark? Obviously, something so heartbreaking, losing 3-2 Green Gully in the final, minutes away from gaining promotion, to moving to Avondale and fitting in extremely well.
Well, I say minutes away. I think there were some handshakes in the grandstands. I think they were more seconds away from promotion to NPL 1. And really, if you look at their form this season, it will really what an opportunity Moreland City missed to get a spot in the NPL 1. But I think Matthew Reid, given all his experience and the years he's played at this level, I think he would have gotten over it. I wouldn't say quickly, but eventually. But he's been quite a good pickup for Avondale, given what he gives you not only as a centre back but as an aerial threat on set pieces. As
Zinni tries to beat Slimanovsky, but he's kept possession in the far corner. Delivers, and Fesacic will clear. Hillier, good first touch. Gramero, happy to go back to Reid. Out to Lundy. Boland, Lundy, back to Hillier. Valentini, Lundy, and Instrasoza has done well. Come across and close down the space. Hillier, good first touch. Iconis putting the pressure on. but Avondale get through. Yite Towns under pressure. Akonis gives away a free kick, and it looks like Avondale really trying to open up Kingston with these long diagonal balls, Matty.
Well, what Kingston are doing very well is the gap between their back four and their midfield is very, very small. It's probably no less than 5 metres. So the space in between the lines between the midfield and the back four is just so small. And that's something that Avondale love to exploit. But Kingston aren't giving them that space. So the space is only between the midfield and the front three, which is really, you could say, is dead space because given how far it is away from goal right now, this is really nothing you can do with it. So Avondale probably getting a little bit desperate with these diagonal balls into the channels and just trying to force things. But like you see here, just look how deep these midfielders are for Kingston City. They're really just suffocating the space for the Avondale midfielders.
Reid runs Gramero with a third man run. Sakai with a bit of space. Sakai shoots it. He's hit the crossbar. Potentially could be a save by Satoshi. Zinni tries to find Gramero, but Sakazada will get across. And Swed doesn't clear. Yite Towns delivers. Valentini headers back across, but Theo can break. He's happy to keep possession. Bennett. The 1-2 and Bennett. Still Bennett. The bit of space inside. Oh, the poor pass. Sakai can play Yite Towns in the middle of the park, and the game's starting to stretch up a little bit now. Fantastic opportunity for Avondale there, Matty. Yeah,
Kamano made a really good run in behind from midfield and found himself in behind and a good little header down to his fellow counterpart midfielder Sakaya, whose shot rattled the crossbar in the end. But Avondale really trying to force the issue here and trying to get a goal back as we approach the 20th minute mark of this game.
Sakaya with a bit of space again. Sakaya shoots, but a fantastic block by Faisal Sakazada. Intrashoza will kick it out and win a throw-in. This Kingston setup, it looks like they're set up to a mid to low press, Matty, and it's made it very difficult for Avondale, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They're just sitting deep in a block and then they're picking their moments of when to press Avondale. And every time they seem to do press, it forces a turnover, whether that turnover is through regaining possession or through a throw-in. So far, it looks like Kingston City is playing, or their approach for this game seems to be having a good effect.
Theo tries to flick. Valentini wins possession. And the throw-in. Bit of miscommunication there between Hernan Ninjajosa and Faisal Sakazada, and the ball goes out for an Avondale throw-in. Boland. Back to Boland, delivers, but Ali clears. Lundy. Happy to go back to Hillier. Find Oldfield. Back to Hillier. Gramero. Hillier. A lot of space in the middle of the park at the moment. And Hillier drives into it. Go back to Reid. Sakaya. Yite. Towns loses possession to Anthony Uccello. Iconis. Anthony Theo. Opportunity for Kingston. Theo. Shoots! But a comfortable save for Chris Oldfield in the goals. And you'd say it's routine, but better by Kingston?
Yeah, good from Kingston. They were patient and they picked their moment to press. And Yite Towns gives the ball yet again. I think if you're Avondale and you're on that bench, I think you'd be probably looking to switch Gramano and Yite Towns here because Yite Towns has given the ball away every time. And I think Jonathan Gramano, given the experience he has, probably would be better suited to sit in that 6th role, considering what Kingston are trying to do. But we wait and see if there will be any changes in that midfield. But Yite Towns is kind of having a shocker out there, to be honest.
Valentini. Still Valentini. Satoshi comes off his line and is smothered, and is that great goalkeeping by the Kingston custodian. Out of his hands. Tries to find his throws up. Bit of a push in the back, but Jack Morgan lets it play. And Oldfield will come and collect. And Kingston very well organised today in their BPO shape, aren't they, Matty?
I think Kingston are always organised in every game that they play. I think this year, though, they've really just lacked some firepower up front. I mean, given that they did lose the likes of Ollie White and Sammy Noor in the off-season, and given how late they lost Sammy Noor in the off-season, I just feel that they just struggled really in the final third to find goals this year. Obviously, Max Etheridge didn't provide them with them either, but you'd hope in this second half of the campaign they can get a player who's on the bench, in fact, Alex Canigula, firing, because we know that he has goals in him, but really has been starving of form really in this first half of the season.
Obviously, Canigula coming back from injury as well this evening. It's just something with a player that he's either hot or cold, isn't he? He can turn it up. I remember the year he was at Richmond and tore apart NPL 2 and then NPL 1, and then lately, last season when he came to Kingston, he made a difference and potentially strived them to safety, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's kind of had a recurring calf injury that's probably holding him back this season, but he's definitely a player when he's in form. He's probably one of the best wingers in the competition. We've seen that in the past for him many times at Richmond and Green Gully, so he's definitely one player that if you're Kingston City, you want to get firing in the second half of the season.
Be Kingston City throw in on the far side. Ali Suleimanani will take. Intrazosa. Miscommunication, but it's a free kick to Avondale. A bit of pushes by Zinni, and Zocchi's having a bit of work with Jack Morgan, and Zocchi loves a bit of banter, doesn't he, on the bench?
Yeah, it was a bit like seagulls to chips there. It was just Jack constantly from the Avondale bench, but Jack Morgan's dealt with that one swiftly, and play will get underway nonetheless. But interesting here, just like how deep Kingston City are seating, really. So, I mean, they're Avondale are playing out from the back, and they've really got all but two players behind the halfway line. So it's quite clear that they know what they want to do to Avondale this afternoon. And so far, really, you can say it's working, because 25 minutes they've really been starving of the opportunities, considering how many chances a team like Avondale do create in games.
Zwed tries the overhead. Anthony Ancello gives away a free kick, and a fantastic opportunity for Avondale to get their big boys up top. And we all know how dangerous Matthew Reid is in these situations, Matty.
Yeah, definitely watch for Matty Reid at the back post. I think he scored 10 goals, and 8 of them were with his head last year for Moreland City in NPL 2. So he is one that is a danger on set pieces, and coming in from the back post, you definitely have to watch him. Also watch Liam Boland. He's been in good form this year on the set pieces with the head. So some dangerous situation here for Kingston to defend.
Sakai over the ball, and Rikabane. Sakai to swing it in. But Satoshi comes and collects, drops it, but has been given offside. And Kingston potentially get away with one.
I think Satoshi had that one dealt with quite calmly, but Matthew Reid peeled off the back post there, and unfortunately he was offside in the end. But there again, you just see the threat that he brings on the set pieces as Kingston City will have the opportunity to clear this ball away now.
Satoshi sends it high and long, and Matty Reid just heads it straight back out. And potentially Chris Aldridge could have told he had a bit of time there, Matty.
Yeah, he had the time there to probably bring it down, if not header it back. But I think Avondale are probably a little bit frustrated. Things aren't going the way they probably expected them to early in this contest. So for Kingston City, it's looking all good thus far in this game. If they can keep up this discipline in this block and try and pick their moments to press and then try and counter-attack Avondale in this game.
Really, it comes down to taking their chances for Kingston, doesn't it, Matty? They probably only get another 1 or 2 and potentially 3 chances in the game. If they take it, they could potentially see the game off.
Yeah, definitely. If they take their chances in this game, I think they'll be right to get the results. And I think that's probably something that they've lacked all year. They do create some chances, but they just don't really take them, and they don't take them well enough. So if they can take their chances in this game, like we predicted before the broadcast, Kingston City could be in for a bit of an upset victory here.
Hillier. Back to Oldfield. And look there straight away, the Kingston players just drop back into their block and allowing both centre halves to have possession. As Hillier drives, he's just got no options forward, and Kingston really making it difficult for Avondale to play. Rikabene clips it over the top, but AJ gets across and will just send it and put his foot straight through it again. Hillier. And Zwed puts a bit of pressure and wins the ball. Still Zwed. It will be a Kingston City free kick, and Andy Vargas straight up and having words with Jack Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what there's to discuss. I think Ricky Bainer nearly suplexed the Kingston City player there. He just dragged him to the ground. So I'm not too sure what the protest is about, but I think it's just some general frustrations on that Avondale bench because things just aren't going the way that they would be liking them to be going in this game.
It looks like Hernan Rosa has been told to get off the park. Iconis brings it down for a lovely first touch and tries to find Zwed in behind, but he doesn't. And gives away a free kick. And Kingston at the moment playing with 10 men. But he's been waved back on, and Matty Reid can play.
I think one thing in the winter months that is difficult is tying up your boots with gloves on, and I think Hernan had some boot issues there, and the gloves, they just can't seem to do the laces up at the same time, so he had to come off there and fix that, but he's on the field here. But another turnover here from Avondale as Kingston City have the chance to break away here through Mo Zwed.
Slovenali. Now it's Zwed. Still Zwed. Switches it out wide to Chris Irwin. Bennett getting around him. Still Irwin. Still Irwin. Good touch, and Challo out wide to Bennett. Bennett is offside. There we go. Valentini. Sakazada. And Avondale just been poor today in possession in that final third, haven't they, Matty?
Been poor and been a little bit sloppy too. They're just giving the ball away far too often. They're just allowing Kingston City to really just regain possession and counter-attack. And, just these turnovers, it's really hurting them right now. And you can just see in the way they're playing, they're just not creating the chances that they usually create. And, again, the Avondale bench is up in arms here trying to get some sort of decision now. I'm not too sure. But, they're just really struggling to keep the ball and really try and penetrate through this block that Kingston City have set up.
And Andy Vargas has caught up, and he's really not happy with that challenge by Mo Zwed when he was pushed down to the ground, and not sure why he's too angry. And Satoshi comes off his line and collects once again, and Andy Vargas had to be pushed down by Zocchi to push him down on the bench, and it's something that you don't really want.
Yeah, and I think Nick Tolios went over and had some words there with the Avondale bench, and I guess as this game goes on and Avondale don't get what they want, they're going to get more frustrated, and I think it's going to only ensure that this game fires up as Kingston City have a chance to attack here.
Damien Iconis shoots blocked, but Iconis again! Damien Iconis has just put it wide, and a fantastic opportunity for Kingston to double their lead, Matty.
Yeah, I thought when that ball left the boot, Damien Iconis was going to find the bottom of the net there, but just flashes inches wide here as another warning sign is shot there by Kingston City. Damien Iconis with the opportunity to put them to double their lead and put them 2-0 up in this contest. Who would have predicted that, considering where these two sides are placed in the ladder, as Avondale will have the opportunity to counter-attack, but they've given the ball away yet again as Kingston City have the opportunity to attack here.
Zwed gives away possession. Cello comes in strong, but it will be a Avondale free kick, and Kingston will just quickly drop off and get into the defensive shape. Ricabene plays the ball into Gramaro. Gramano crosses it in, Valentini, but Satoshi off his line quick, and he's done extremely well, hasn't he?
Yeah, Satoshi's been done well throughout this game, and he's definitely been strong in the contest. As you just see how good his distribution can be at times there. But Kingston City really got Avondale frustrated in this game.
Slumanani send it high and over the fence, and Avondale really just no urgency at the moment, Matty, and it looks like they're going through the motions. As the ball finds Zinni, it's a poor pass once again, and Bennett's got time to regroup and potentially launch a Kingston City counter. Intrazozo's potential could have been an advantage, but Jack Morgan has given the free kick, and good hold-up play there.
Yeah, good up play there by Hernan, as I think it was Matthew Reid in the end that came through and collected him. It's It's an interesting one. Avondale, you have to wonder, though, really, given that they don't really rotate their squad that much, especially considering last year how much they did rotate their squad. You've got to wonder how many players are probably out there not on full tanks right now, because they've played a lot of football if you consider how many cup games they've also played throughout this season. And when you look at their lineup, it's pretty much unchanged from week to week. So I think the lack of rotations is, you're probably seeing the downward trend here with Avondale. And you've seen in the last 5 games, they haven't gotten the results that they would have desired. So I think that probably, I won't say lack of squad depth, but the lack of rotations they've had this year, it's definitely starting to show their signs in their performances in recent weeks.
You reckon a lot of these bodies are starting to feel that there's only potentially 2 to 3 weeks left with the amount of games they've played?
Yeah, I think you see, I think there's some players out there with the fuel light on, to be honest. They probably just need some time off to recharge the batteries, given all the midweek games they've also had with FA Cup qualifiers. And yeah, probably for Avondale, you wouldn't mind a week or 2 off, or some players to bring in just to rotate, to hold over and give some players some rest. But yeah, you can just see there seems to be just a lack of energy out there from Avondale in this game.
Theo tries to get the ball out. We'll go out for a throw-in. A little bit better by Kingston, just getting their foot on the ball. And Avondale really haven't got out of first gear this evening. Boland flicks it on. Valentini finds Stefanzini in behind. Satoshi comes off his line and sends it high and long. He's done extremely well there, and the linesman's put it offside. Great goalkeeping once again by the Kingston custodian.
Yeah, good sweeping there to clear that ball away from the incoming Zinni. It looks like Zinni and Valentini have swapped sides in this game, so potentially Zinni's trying to target Daniel Bennett, maybe the Avondale bench. They've seen something on this side, but we'll see as this contest goes on if it will pay off.
It looks like Kingston have made a bit of a change in their lineup as well. It's like Chris Irwin has come out wide, and Damien Iconis is playing more of as a 10, Matty.
Yeah, probably given how much they're winning the ball in the central areas of the park, you probably want a player like Iconis there, especially if you win the ball in your final third or in the midfield third and you can break forward. You need somebody that can have the finishing prowess that I guess Damien Iconis has. So they're probably seeing, Kingston City Band's probably seeing that they are winning the ball quite often in dangerous areas, and they probably want to capitalise on that.
Inchello sends it long, but Hernan wins the possession. And Ricabene sends it all the way back to Chris Oldfield. And Avondale happy to play out of the back once again. Kingston City very deep. Yate Towns. Lundy. Hillier. Reed. Ricabene. Tries to find Valentini in behind, but Suleimani will see it out for a throw-in, but Valentini's kicked it out. Long forward, it's straight out for another throw-in, and Helia looks to take quickly, but he'll leave it for Ricky Bain. And that's just the type of urgency there, Matty, where we're talking about that Avondale should have just played quickly and tried to disorganise Kingston.
Yeah, definitely slow on the restarts, and just slow in and around the box, and just sloppy, to be honest. And Kingston City really done well this far this game to make them punish and get that early goal. But you imagine if Avondale keep this up, you can see Kingston probably pinching another one before half time, to be honest.
Theo finds Bennett. And Lundy's kept possession in. No, the linesman has lifted the flag out for a throw-in, and Kingston slowing down the game as rightly they should. Hernan. Good turn, and referee says play on. Hillier. Valentini. Ricabene. Boland flicks Valentini in, and he's offside, and to be honest, he looked onside there, Matty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check out the replay there, but Liam Boland did well there to drop in between the lines and then flick that ball through to Valentini, but nonetheless, the linesman did flag for offside, and I have to say he did flag quite convincingly, so I'll probably favour the linesman there that it was offside, but I'm happy for you to disagree, Dean.
Just from I do have a pole in the way, Matty, so from my angle it looked like he was onside. Hernan. Wide to Irwin. Finds Hernan again. and gives away possession. Zinni. Bennett right up his ass, but he goes out wide. Zinni tries to find Valentini in behind, but Ali's headed straight back into the danger zone, but Safa does extremely well. High and clears it out of danger. Kingston will see it out for a goal kick. So, Matty, there was an upset earlier today. Not really an upset, but Green Gully and Bentley Green's playing a 1-1 result. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's a bit of upset considering the start that Bentley Greens did have to the start of the season, but Bentley Greens, I think that's 3 losses in 4 games since the departure of John Anastasiadis. So for Bentley Greens, you got to wonder how much the loss of Johnny A has hurt them, but their form in recent weeks hasn't been the best, and obviously they did lose their key man in Valentina Ewell to Western United, who I believe are going to start pre-season training very soon. So for Bentley Greens, they've really dropped off, and you've got to wonder. I have a feeling that we could have a final series this year that doesn't feature the Bentley Greens for once.
It's a big call, Matty. It's a big call. What are your thoughts on why they won't make the final?
Well, if you given how tight they are, especially Altona Magic and given how close Altona Magic and Melbourne Knights are really fighting up for finals places, and if you look at the ladder and you look at the top 6,
as Bennett just hits that free kick high and over everything, and it was a poor ball in.
Yeah, if you look at the top 6, you'd probably say that, and given Green Gully's form in recent months, you'd probably say that if Bentley Greens continue the downward slope, that they might find themselves fighting for a spot in 5th or 6th position. And we know how dramatic the last couple of weeks can be in NPL Victoria. And look, if they don't get their form right, I could see the Bentley Greens potentially slipping out of the finals if they can't pick up the wins in the second half of the year.
And obviously, Oakley picking up form, obviously beating the Dandenong Thunder this evening 3-1 and starting to find their form in the middle part of the season now, which it's taken so long for them to find, could potentially throw another spanner in the mix. Works.
Well, I mean, we saw last year, I think Kingston City and Dandenong Thunder were like almost corn and buried, and both nearly made the finals in the end. I think it was really Port Melbourne Sharks who hanged on by a knife's edge to finish in that 6th position. But look, the second half of the season is always very different in NPL Victoria, and teams pick up form and they get flying and then they don't stop. And if you look at Dandenong City, their last 2 results have been extremely convincing. 3-0 against South Melbourne, a 4-1 against Pascoe Vale. So you'd probably say if they can keep up the wins that they might make a late push for finals. They are only 10 points behind Green Gully, which is only three games and a draw. So things can change pretty quickly in NPL Victoria, and we've seen it before. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dandenong City, if they keep up their form, find themselves potentially playing out for a final spot come the last couple of rounds.
Obviously, some 3 big signings there, Matty, and you'd think if they pick up points every match now, they potentially got a chance to make those final series.
Well, definitely. I think going off my calculations, I think there's 10 or 11 games left. So that's 33 points available. It's more than enough to make finals football if they can pick up at least 70% of those points. So there's still plenty to play for, regardless of the position that you're in on the ladder right now, because the ladder is quite tight, especially if you look from position 14 to position 9. So there's still plenty to play here in this season.
And obviously, each team's got to play each other once more. That's the beauty of being, let's say, rock bottom at this stage of the season, Matty. You've still got to play everyone at least once, as Damien O'Conus tries to win possession, but Yute Towns does extremely well. But the ball finds Hernan. He's given away possession once again, and he's been a bit sloppy today, Hernan, hasn't he, Matty?
Yeah, he's been good and he's been bad in certain areas of the park, but he does well holding up the ball, but sometimes he tries to do a little bit too much and forces the turnovers. But I think Hernan, he is going to bring them some quality once he settles into his squad. Let's not forget, he is coming up from State League 1. That is a big jump to NPL 1 Victoria. Is Avondale going to break away here?
As Zinni gets the ball inside the right side of the box, and AJ Fagzada has come across with a challenge and potentially has got away with a penalty shout. And for me, some referees give that, Matty.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was that was an interesting challenge from AJ Fedorovich. I mean, he definitely brought down Stefan Zinni there, and I think if you're Kingston City, you won't say too much because I think you're a little bit lucky there. I thought that could have been a fair shout for a penalty.
As Kingston playing with fire here at the moment, aren't they? And I think Safa and AJ just said, let's just play long. And as we talk now, Oakley Cannons have scored a fourth against Dandenong Thunder. And Dandenong Thunder this week have lost Huss and John Flores. What are your thoughts on that, Matty?
Well, I mean, my thoughts are simple for Dandenong Thunder. I think they should be a little bit worried. I mean, they lost to Kingston 2-0 last week at home, and they've just been absolutely battered yet again at home 4-1 now. It's currently to the Oakley Cannons. I mean, their form is really going to lift. Otherwise, if the wins continue for teams around them, they're going to find themselves in a really difficult position in the next month or so if they are unable to pick up points, because they are really... Their home form this year has been atrocious. I think they've won 1 or 2 games. I mean, that's simply not good enough to stay in the competition. You've really got to make your home ground as a fortress if you want to stay in NPL Victoria. But, yeah, Avondale breakaway here.
Zinni inside the box. Zinni shoots, and it's just absolutely into the tip, that shot. It was very poor, Matty.
Yeah, well, that ball's over. I think over the hit the roof and over the fence. But Stefan Zinni there, just no composure in that in and around the box to find and hit the target, and that's really been the story of Avondale's game thus far. Just really a lack of composure and a lack of quality in the final third to get themselves back in this contest.
Satoshi sends it high and long, and Zwed's kept it in. No, he hasn't touched that wide. And Riccabani plays quick. Boland is in late, and it'll be a free kick to the Kingston City. A bit more time to run down the clock here, Matty. Not too long left. How many minutes of stoppages do you reckon?
I'll probably say probably 1 or 2. There hasn't really been many stoppages in this contest. I don't think there's been a yellow card dished out either yet, but probably another minute or so on top of the other 2 minutes left in this contest. And if you're Kingston City, you probably really want to hold on to this lead going into the sheds and try and regroup the second half and find a goal to really probably kill off this contest.
Theo drills it across the box, but it's over the bar, and it's stayed in and will go out for a throw-in. And Kingston, good opportunity there, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. For Avondale, you don't want to be conceding another goal just before half-time, but Kingston City, they're definitely threatening in this contest as they've really frustrated Avondale in this contest.
Lundy. Boland wins the header, but Sakazada's had a shot and it's over the fence, and Chris Oldfield will not go and fetch it. And we'll call for the ball. Oldfield sends it long. In fact, Hadjish wins it. Iconis. He's in behind, and Hernan, and it's offside, and it'll be 1 minute of stoppage time. Hillier plays quick. Towns. Reed. Finds Towns, who flicks it forward, and Bennett comes across and does well. Hernan. Still Hernan. Loses possession, but Theo wins it again. Theo. Irwin. His fantastic footwork to beat one. Irwin crosses it, but Hillier clears and ball go back to Oldfield. He'll send it long. Fatahakic wins the header. Hillier. Gramero. Reed. Lundy. Chips it forward to Zinni's chest. Zinni. Lundy. And Jack Morgan blows for half-time, and Kingston would be the happier of the two sides going to the break, Matty.
Yeah, definitely got the early lead in this contest, which is something that they did so well earlier in the year. So they got the early lead 1-0, and they really frustrated Avondale from there on out. And they did have a fair share of chances, Kingston, to double their lead. And not to say that Avondale didn't have their chances also. I think it was Sakao's shot that rattled the crossbar. But so far in this contest, Kingston City have really frustrated Avondale, and Avondale really haven't gotten what they've wanted out of this game thus far. As Kingston City going to take the lead into half-time.
Fantastic first half for the Kingston City Football Club. As we go into halftime, we'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you for joining us. And welcome back to the Grange this evening for this round 17 clash between Kingston City and Avondale. Kingston City went into the sheds 1-0 up. Avondale really haven't found their form this evening and have been extremely poor. Matty, what do you expect from this second half?
Yeah, well, Kingston City head to the sheds with that 1-0 lead, thankful for an Anthony Thayer goal off a poorly defended set piece, you'd have to say, from Avondale. But from the second half, you'd expect an improved Avondale performance. They were very sloppy in the first half and it really reflected their current form in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And as for Kingston City, they frustrated Avondale in that first half, and they're probably going to look to frustrate them even more and probably pinch another goal in this game. And you'd probably imagine that this is probably a 2-goal game. You'd probably think that if Kingston City are able to get another goal, they'd probably seal all 3 points here at the Grange Reserve. But obviously a goal to Avondale would probably fire things up for the remaining of the contest. But Avondale probably have to get out of first gear if they want to get something out of this game.
As Reid looks to drive, he'll send it forward for Lundy. The ball will go out for a Kingston throw in. And strapping ourselves in, Matty, for this hopefully exciting second half. I know in the break you were watching Roland Garros. Novak Djokovic won set all with Dominic Thiem. What are your thoughts on that? As Daniel Bennett looks to take the throw in. In cello. Hernan. Hernan. 1-2 with Hernan, but it will be a free kick for the Kingston City Football Club, and Jack Morgan gives away a yellow card to Brendan Lundy, and it's the first yellow card of the match, Matty.
Yeah, first yellow card of the contest there, and Avondale, probably the frustrations of the first half, probably taking it out there through that foul and resulting yellow card for actually. Bit of afters there and a bit of a push and a shove nonetheless, but looks like Avondale taking out their frustrations of the first half and Brendan Lundy going into the ball.
Maybe it's just a game, a bit of spice action, a bit of a... And this is what Avondale...
Yeah, kind of like that that energy that they've had in the first half of the campaign, and that kind of, I would say that aggressiveness just really wasn't there early on in that first half. It probably hasn't been there for a couple of weeks, and you've got to wonder, really, given their form in the first half of the year, whether or not this is kind of a bit of a mid-season slump that we're seeing here from the Avondale Heights, but definitely not looking in the finest of form in recent weeks.
As Bennett looks to deliver. Good ball in. Ball gets flicked on by Liam Boland, but Oldfield will come and collect. Riccobene clips it forward for Zinni. Zinni kept it in. Zinni and is offside of the referees. Called it late, but benefit of the doubt, he is in line with him. Fetahakic will leave it, and Satoshi will come and take. Satoshi sends it long. Reid wins the header. Incello gives away a free kick, and Zinni looks to take quickly, but Jack Morgan calls it back, and he's on the ball tonight, Jack Morgan. Hillier. Gramero. Lundy. Valentini. Back to Lundy. Lundy who delivers it to the back post. Zinni's there. Calls for a handball, but not given, and Ali Swimwani will send it over the fence. And Avondale can take this throw, and Kingston can regroup, and that's a little bit better by Avondale, Matty.
Yeah, looping ball over Satoshi's head there from Brendan Lundy on that cross, and Stefan Zinni found himself at the back post with a header that resulted in the header being headed into, I think, Faisal's head himself. Bit of a shout there from Liam Boland from handball, but definitely wasn't even close. But Avondale probably a better start thus far in this contest early on.
Obviously, Kingston down to 10 men with Chris Irwin off the park at the moment. It looks like a shoulder injury, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain. Huge loss for the Kingston City Football Club, Matty.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Owen's probably not going to be returning to play. It looks like that shoulder may have slipped out of place there as Stefan Zinni has an opportunity here.
Still Zinni, tackled by Moswed, and he'll go out for a corner, and perfect opportunity to bring on Alex Canigula.
Yes, and if I'm correct if my eyes are lying to me, but it does look like potentially Alex Canigula is running up the touchline here, although I'm not too certain about it, but it does look like Chris Yeoman's night is over here at the Grange Reserve. That is a big loss for Kingston City. Has been good early on this contest as Avondale have a set-piece opportunity here.
Just a fun fact for you, Matty. Canigula has done his calf again in the warm-up and is out of the squad. Words from the goalkeeper coach, Paul Harvey, who was sitting next to us. That's something that you don't want to happen.
Yeah, well, interesting enough, I can actually see Alex Caniglia with the foam roller there and the boots off. So there you go. Alex Caniglia has done his calf in the warm-up. I don't know how he's done that because I was watching him warm up and it didn't look too strenuous, but probably a niggling reoccurring injury has held him back here, as it does look like it is number 19, the new signing, David Antiquera, coming on from for Kingston City, obviously moving across from Eltham Redbacks. Previously has played at Box Hill and Nuttawading, so he's definitely an exciting player when he is in form to watch. As Kingston City pinch this ball off here.
Iconis can break. Hernan. Just waiting for numbers to get into the box. Hernan. David Quintrara crosses it. Go. He's kept it in. Hernan. And Kingston will win nothing, and Gramano will break. Boland, fantastic touch and a fantastic diagonal ball to Stefan Zinni, whose first touch is immaculate. Tries to find Valentini in behind, but Fetahakic does extremely well to win a free kick there, and Avondale look extremely dangerous there on the break.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that Avondale do so well, is probably on the break. They just look so dangerous, and a little bit concerning here. There does seem to be some marshals on the far side, so I'm a little bit concerned. I think we might see an ambulance rock up very soon for Chrissy Irwin, who did come off in some discomfort. So there seems to be some discussion on the bench, and they were pointing towards, I know, where the entrance is of the ambulance. So a little bit concerning here. You'd hope for Chrissy Irwin that it isn't too bad, but it looks like he might be on his way to a trip to the hospital.
So the ball gets clicked forward and long, and Hillier does extremely well. Zwed, his first touch is long and go out for a throw-in. For someone of such good quality, Chris Irwin, he's just had such an injury-prone career, hasn't he? Last season he was injured. He missed a big chunk of the season, and once again with his potential shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think he missed most of the season, correct me if I'm wrong, with a knee injury. So he did miss most of the 2018 campaign, and a shoulder injury at this point of the season you'd hope wouldn't keep him out for too long, but you'd imagine if it is as serious as it potentially may be, that an extended time off the field looks to be on the horizon for Chris Irwin, which would be very disappointing given that the transfer window has closed, and that would mean Kingston City would be without a play for several weeks and potentially months.
As Healy looks to play forward, Yate Towns playing a little bit higher, and it looks like Zoki heard your coaching tactics here and has put Gramano a bit forward, and Yate Towns a little bit more forward and Gramano a little bit deeper.
Yeah, look, it probably makes sense to have Gramano just sitting in that six role, given his experience and his quality. And Yate Towns just probably gave the ball away a little bit too much in that six role in the first half. But looks like a slight change. In fact, it probably looks like Gramano and Yate Towns are both sitting as the sixes, and it probably looks like Sakaya will sit as the 10. So probably a switch or a 4-2-3-1 here from Avondale in the second half. Probably just trying to get the ball out wide into the channels, into their wingers a little bit quicker and a little bit easier, and trying to exploit the pace that they do have in the final third.
It was an extremely poor shot there by Liam Boland, high and over the bar, wasn't it, Matty?
Yeah, I totally missed that one, but I was rambling on. But Yeah, just some lack of quality in the final third that is really letting Avondale down, as Matthew Reid really just gives Hernan a big shove in the back there as he wins that header.
Zwed with Rico Benet, and Zwed's kept it in, but just outdoes himself, and this is what happens when you play too much A-League, Matty. Hillier. Matthew Reid. Back to Oldfield. Reid. Sakaya to Hillier. Rico Benet. Hillier. Diagonal. And Bennett doesn't win the header, and Gramano inside the box, but he's given away a free kick, and Kingston, I guess, get away with one, Matty. It's potentially just poor from Avondale.
Yeah, again, just poor decisions really to give away a silly foul like that when you have the opportunity to attack like they did. So, yeah, Avondale, they've just kind of been off the boil, I guess, really, in this contest, and they've got to kind of find a way to fight their way back into it and try and salvage something out of this game, because this would be a pretty devastating loss, you'd imagine, if you were Avondale, considering that they are top of the league. But that's not to take away from Kingston, who have been very good in this contest and have been a far much improved side in the last fortnight.
The transfer window has been a big saviour for Kingston, hasn't it? It's bringing in a few good quality players and has really established them into a good side so far.
Yes, and I have my gripes with the structure of the transfer window. I really think there's a lot of work that could be done to improve it, because I still think there's far too many things that happen in the window that just don't make sense from a club recruiting perspective. But nonetheless, Kingston have done well, I guess, to try and recruit some more depth into their squad. And I think David Antiquera is a good signing for them to give them a little bit of quality potentially in their front line. And he has done well previously at Eltham Redbacks, who, don't forget, did knock out Pascoe Vale in the FFA Cup qualifiers on a very cold, wet night down at Eltham. So you'd imagine he's definitely got some quality to add something to this Kingston team.
Terrible place to go, Eltham. Cold in the hills and on a concrete pitch. The synthetic really does need to be redone. Hopefully in the next couple of years. As Zinni breaks in and has been brought down. It's a free kick for Kingston and a yellow card for diving on Stefan Zinni. What are your thoughts on that, Matty?
I have to say, this is getting a little bit frustrating from Stefan Zinni. This is a few too many times this season that this has happened, where he's gone down far too easily in the box and received a yellow card. I think Stefan Zinni needs to have a good hard look at himself going forward, because, like I said, it's just far too often that this is happening. He's really got to stop doing it. I mean, it's really poor to try and to do things like that, but to me it looked like a clear dive, and yeah, look, I think it's a deserving yellow card.
Just watch the replay, Matty, and it is a clear dive, and that's a bit embarrassing. There's no room for that in this game, and Zinni really needs to improve. Zwed's given away a free kick, and score update for the Oakley Dandenong Thunder game. It's 5-2, and Dandenong Thunder, it's really not been their night tonight, has it?
It's not been their season at home this year. I mean, their home form has just been nothing more than atrocious, really. They've been battered from pillar to post every other couple of games at home, but the games that they have put on a fighting contest, they really haven't put up the points. Look, for Dandenong Thunder, they've got to make George Andrews Reserve a bit of a fortress again going forward, because if they want to cement their place in NPL and Victoria, they've got to pick up points at home at least. But when your away form's better than your home form, it probably explains why you're so low on the ladder.
It's at Duckland Stadium, Matty. Just for you playing at home. Offside as well, Stefan Zinni. It's been a poor couple of minutes for him, and Kingston happy for him to kick the ball. Zinni's taken the ball, but he's 1-0 down, and just unnecessary, isn't it, Matty?
Yeah, a bit unnecessary. Probably really a flat performance, really, from Avondale in this opening 60 minutes of this contest. They've got to do something to try and change something to get themselves back into this game. I have seen that they are sending the subs for a warm-up, but really just a bit of a flat performance. You'd probably wonder, potentially, does Yusuf Ahmed come on to give them a little bit of a spark in their front line, considering how good he was against Melbourne Knights in that game, in that FFA Cup qualifier that they did eventually lose. So you'd imagine that Yusuf Ahmed probably will be injected into this game at some point.
Obviously got Joey Catabian on the bench as well, and former Melbourne Victory man, Brisbane Roar man. He can possess something and come on and lift the spark.
Yeah, definitely, and potentially having a front two of Boland and Katabian definitely could probably change things around in this contest, but you'd have to imagine as the time ticks on that they've got to change something and get that going, because another goal to Kingston City probably would really kill off this contest.
They really haven't created anything in front of goal, have they, Matty? And it's worrying if they really need to get another one or another. If Kingston do get one, they need two, and they've struggled to score one, and it'd be a bit of a panic station if they do, as Gramano just kicks the ball into nowhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, Sakaya's shot that rattled the crossbar really has been the only and best chance of this game. I do have to say Satoshi did make a great save off Liam Boland earlier, where he did turn his man off a throw-in, but really those two chances has been all she's wrote for Avondale so far in this game. But like you said, really been deprived of the opportunities that we've succumbed to see them to have throughout not only this season but last season.
Ball go out for an Avondale throw-in. Helio. Boland, back to Helia. Sakaya loses possession, and Inchalo can break. Keeps possession, Zwed. That's a poor pass by Zwed. Zinni. I think that's a soft free kick there. That's my opinion. Damien Iconis is just slowing down the pace, and he's done extremely well there.
Yeah, and again, look at this lack of urgency from Avondale to restart the game here, just allowing Kingston City to set up defensively, which they've been quite strong defensively on set pieces, but just this lack of urgency from Avondale has been really astonishing in this game. They look nothing like the team that they were at the start of the year.
As Gramano starts pushing, and Avondale's starting to get frustrated. And they're about to lose their head if they're not careful, Matty.
Yeah, well, I mean, really they're taking their frustrations out on the game, when really the source of their frustrations is just from their own poor play thus far in this contest. So Avondale got to really calm down and settle down, because really these long, hopeful balls like you saw from Ricky Bainey just there, it's just not doing really anything for them. They've got to get back to playing some of the football that they did play earlier in the year.
Reid. Sakaya. Helia. Ricabene. Ricabene delivers. Bennett clears. Helia wins the head up, but Iconis to mop up. Yate Towns. Gramano on the volley. Blocked. But Ali Sumamani clears, and Hernan can break. But Avondale do well. Reid. Towns. Zinni. Great tackle by Daniel Bennett for a throw-in. Towns. Poor pass there. Set Ricabene behind. Sakai making that third man run. But Kingston happy to see it out and go out for a throw-in. And just those pointless balls have done really nothing for Avondale tonight, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Avondale are going to make a double sub, so they're definitely going to roll the dice. Looks like Yusuf Ahmed's going to come on, who was absolute quality in that game against Melbourne Knights. And it looks like Dylan Yakupi is also going to come on, so it looks like it is number 7, Stefan Zinni, to come off, and it looks like Dylan Yakupi will replace him, and it looks like number 3, James Ricabene, is also coming up. So probably Ricabene for Yakupi, and Yusuf Ahmed coming on for Zinni. So big change there from Avondale to try and really inject some quality into this game and kind of get that spark to get themselves back into it.
And it looks like Lundy's come over to the left, and Yakupi will play out on the right. Boland. Lundy. Boland, great turn. Switches it, finds Yakupi. Ahmed. Yusuf Ahmed, fantastic footwork to Yate Towns now. Helia. And Ali comes across and is cleaned up by Mo Zwed, but Zwed does extremely well. And it's the last thing you want as a Kingston City manager is another injury to a key player.
Yeah, you don't want more injuries if you're Kingston City. It seems like the injuries are really starting to have really piled up this season, and it has let them down in various stages of their season, but it looks like he is up and he is okay, so Kingston City will avoid another bullet, but a throw in here for Avondale nonetheless.
Towns. Hernan can break. Ball over the top, trying to find Iconis. Reed wins the header. Gramano wins the seconds. Fantastic switch. Ahmed flicks. Yakupi here. Can he deliver? Yakupi delivers. Misses over the top. Boland strikes. And Blaine Boland scores for the Avondale. And you've got to say it's poor defending from Kingston. But Avondale are level.
Yeah, great ball over the top there. And Yusuf Ahmed with a cute little flick with his head to put Dylan Yakupi in behind there, who had an excellent cross over the top, and it went over the first man, and Liam Boland was able to bring that down, and Satoshi did well to try and make himself big, but Liam Boland drilled that into the bottom corner. That's the goal that Avondale needed. That's the spark that they wanted to get back into this contest, but if you're Kingston City, really a goal from nothing to allow Avondale to score, and we're all even here and we're all square at the Grange Reserve.
Theo wins a free kick, and it just looks like Avondale have got a bit of a spark now, and maybe that kickstarts their form to get back into gear.
Well, it looks like Zocchi is a tactical master there with the two subs. I mean, Dylan Yakupi and Yusuf Ahmed combining to create that cross, and Liam Boland buries it. So the substitutions pay off for Avondale in the end, and those substitutions were probably very much needed in this contest because they really were lacking that spark in the final third, and some quality from Dylan Yakupi and Liam Boland results in an equaliser for Avondale.
Towns kills Reed, but Oldfield will collect and send it long. Ball's just bobbling around. Sakazada wins the header. Theo with that Boland and gives away a free kick, and it looks like a free kick, Matty.
Yeah, it's a classic case of the big man and the small man combining there in that aerial threat, and the elbows of Liam Boland just finding Theo's head there, so it's a foul nonetheless. But Scotty Hillier has been sent off here. Scott Hillier has been given his marching orders. That was a straight red card from Jack Morgan. Absolutely not having. Something must have been said as that ball was getting reset there for that free kick. Scott Hillier has been sent for an early shower by Jack Morgan. Straight red card there, and there was absolute conviction there from Jack Morgan to dish that one out. An absolute spanner in the works here, because Avondale have gotten the goal back in this contest, and now they find themselves with 10 men. And honestly, D. Manier, I'm speechless. That came from nowhere.
Matty, I'm not going to lie to you. I've just saw Jack Morgan just walk across and issue the red card to Scott Hillier, and he's pretty much sent him off, and with conviction. So it must have been very bad verbal. So Jack Morgan's not really someone that will be trigger happy to send a red card if it wasn't something light. Yeah,
knowing what the type of person that Jack Morgan is, he wouldn't issue a red card out like that unless it was serious. So looks like Scotty Hillier has spoken some words that shouldn't have been spoken, and it has resulted in a straight red card. And this game is really ignited here in the Avondale bench. He's absolutely filthy. It's a penalty.
And he's given a handball. What a game we have on our hands. And Jack Morgan will be given an advantage. And there's afters as well here as well. What a game, Matty. What a game. Spicing up. And there was afters between Daniel Yakupi and Anthony Theo. And a few other verbals. And Liam Boland has won a handball off something that didn't look like a handball. I've just watched the replay, Matty, and it doesn't look like headers. It looks like he headed, but the benefit of the doubt, Jack Morgan is there, and Avondale have an opportunity to take the lead.
Yeah, an absolute moment of madness, really. I mean, Scotty Hillier getting sent off, and then only seconds later, it's a penalty to Avondale, and Liam Boland steps up here, an opportunity to score another goal here for his campaign. And he buries it in the bottom right-hand corner. Avondale take the lead. I'm not sure, Demonier, you saw the replay. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, really a moment of madness in his last couple of minutes.
Yeah, the game's really been twisted on its head. A red card and Avondale take the lead. And look, I think Kingston might have a bit of a spark. Obviously, the afters that happened from that penalty could kickstart a bit of fire. But Avondale take the lead and really out of nothing, I guess. And I guess the two subs from Zocchi have made a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, really, Avondale probably just got gifted the lead there by that penalty decision, and I haven't seen the replay of it, but I mean, off first thoughts, I didn't really think much of it, but nonetheless, Avondale got the penalty, and Liam Boland absolutely buried it into the back of the net. But really, a crazy last 2 or 3 minutes with Scott Hillier being given his marching orders at a direct row card, and almost seconds later, Avondale Heights find themselves with a penalty, and Liam Boland buries it and takes the lead as my co-commentator Demon here fishes for the replay here to give you a little bit more context. But absolute chaos here as we look at the replay here. It is Liam Boland's cross, and I'm not too sure. I have to have a look on closer inspection there, but first initial thoughts, it didn't look like a handball, but nonetheless, we may be missing something. But Avondale are going to break away here on this left-hand side.
Lundy delivers over the top, and Valentini will go out. And what a game we have here, Matty. And Kingston with the man advantage. Could they make it happen? As a diagonal ball finds Antequera. Antequera finds Theo, and Jack Morton doesn't give a free kick, but the ball's moving around, and it's a free kick to Avondale. And what an opportunity for Kingston there. From the video highlights, Matty, it's very hard to tell from this angle, but Jack Morgan, give him the benefit of the doubt this evening, and we move on. And there are referees' assessors tonight, but I guess that's the reason he's in the middle and on the A-League panel, because he's potentially one of the best in the country. Antequera. Still got possession, finds a diagonal ball, trying to find Zwed, but Towns wins the header. Valentini. Still Valentini. Beats two and then wins a free kick, and Daniel Bennett was late there, and that is a free kick if anything, and Kingston shouldn't have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, free kick there for Avondale, and really just this game has really turned on its head ever since Scott Hillier got sent his marching orders really out of the blue for a straight red card, and then a ball over the top and across from Liam Boland, and it looks like it may have actually hit the arm on the way through, but it's really hard to tell on the video replay if it hit his arm or it hit his chest or it hit his head. But nonetheless, Avondale got the penalty and they scored, and they went 2-1 up, which was really a dream situation to have happen to you just after seconds after you get a red card. So it's real chaos here at the Grange Reserve. But Avondale in the lead, really surprisingly, and they have a free kick here on the edge of the box.
Sakai to take. Delivers it into the box. Boland's been brought down. It's another penalty, and Safa has given away a penalty, and Jack Morgan has given a yellow card to Faisal Sakazada. And wow, how has this game changed in the matter of 15 minutes, Matty? And wow. And for me, it looked like a penalty, but we'll look at the replay as we wait for Avondale to choose a penalty taker. And it's very inconclusive. And Liam Boland the step to take his second penalty of the evening. Liam Boland strikes and he scores. Goes the other way. And the Avondale have opened up the lead to 3-1. And how has this game turned? And wow. Matty, what can we say?
Yeah, I mean, really, this is just, it's absolute chaos, to be honest. I mean, Scotty Hillier gets his marching orders, and then there's a dubious penalty shout, and Liam Boland buries it, and then, I mean, I'm not sure about that other penalty, Dean. I really think Faisal's been hard done by there. I mean, yeah, I mean, there was contact, but I thought Liam Boland went down very, very comfortably, and Avondale with 10 men somehow are up 3-1 here in this contest, and you've got a feel for Kingston City as they make a substitution here in this contest. It looks like it's number 11, Ali Suleiman, that has come off, and I didn't quite catch the number that is coming on here, but it looks like Dante Conte to me that has come on. So number 8, Dante Conte's come on, but really for Kingston City, all they can do is really open up and push now to try and get something out of this contest, because Avondale, like I said, do have 10 men, but boy, do things change very quickly in football.
Yeah. Wow, that's all I've got to say, Matty. Wow. Avondale found their spark, and maybe it was that red card, Matty. They've kicked them into gear, and they've shown why they're on top of the table, and great character to come from behind with 10 men to take the lead here. But for Kingston, they have been hard done by tonight, and potentially there's still plenty of time to play, Matty. We'll see if they can get something out of the game. As Yakubi just sends it clear, and it looks like they've made a tactical change to play 3 at the back.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Kingston City, you just got to go for it now. I mean, really, like you said, I think they were a little bit hard done by. They did. I mean, Avondale did equalise, and then they did get a player sent off. That's clearly, I thought, handball right there from Brendan Lundy, but nonetheless. But look, those two penalties, I think, are questionable, and you probably have to look at the replays a little bit more closely. But on initial thoughts, I think Kingston have been pretty stiff there to cop those 2 pens, and nonetheless, Avondale did well to take them, and they've taken the lead in this contest. And like you said, I guess that's probably why they are top of the ladder. I guess luck does fall to the teams usually that are higher up on the ladder. But yeah, if you're Kingston City, everything was going so well for 65 minutes, and then really, I mean, 5-10 minutes of absolute chaos, and it's practically all over here.
Oldfield sends it long and diagonal. Dante. Conte's come in late, and he's been shown a yellow card, and the second yellow card for the Kingston City Football Club tonight, and it's not the type of impact you want to have coming on as a sub, is it, Matty?
Yeah, Dante Conte, young kid that once upon a time I think was applying his trade at the Richmond, who former NPL club there playing, and he's done very well since switching across to Kingston City. He's experienced a lot of game time this year under Nick Tolios, which is really good to see, because he's definitely a player, a good player, and one to watch for the future.
And it looks like Wayne Boland has stayed down. Time wasting, or is he actually injured?
I'm not too sure what's going on there, but Joey Katabian has been sent from a warm-up, so you'd probably expect at some point in the game that Katabian is probably going to replace Liam Boland to see out this contest, but Liam Boland is up and walking wounded, but looks like he'll be able to stay on the field of play.
Gramano finds Valentini in behind, but well defended, and Kingston just send it over the fence, and Avondale take their time to bring this throw-in back into play. Boland. Lundy. Boland. It's a Kingston throw-in. Hernan. Just headed it straight out, and be an Avondale throw-in. Lundy. Boland tries to flick. Conte. Zwed. Finds Hernan. Hernan beats 1. Beats 2. Still Hernan, and it's poor pass. Theo. Out wide to Zwed. Zwed crosses it in low, but Avondale with the numbers and the clear. Ahmed breaks with Sakaya. Sakaya finds Valentini, and Valentini can break. Tackle by Conte. And Bennett has kicked that ball out of play under no pressure, and Jack Morgan is calling over Mo Zwed, and it looks like it'll be a yellow card, and so Kingston, another yellow card, and you can hear Damien Iconis turning around to a few of the Avondale players saying it's every week. And what are your thoughts on that, Matty?
No thoughts on that, but some fiery words being said on the sidelines there between the Kingston and Avondale benches. Some nasty exchanges on the far side we're hearing, but nonetheless, I think if you're Kingston, you're probably really frustrated with the way this game's probably turned out. You know, a lot of circumstances that are probably out of their control has seen them really down and out in this contest here, and quite unluckily, to be honest, to be trailing 3-1 at home against really an Avondale side that really hasn't been that great for 65 minutes of this contest. And nonetheless, I guess that's football, Dean.
Exactly, that's why it's the wonderful world game, isn't it, Matty? And for Avondale to score 2 goals with 10 men, both penalties, it's just pure scenes, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was those. I mean, from the red card, really since Avondale scored that equaliser, it's just been a bit chaotic, really, with the red card and then the 2 penalties. So, looks like Avondale will unload the bench. It looks like Joey Katabian will be their third and final sub of this contest, and I would suspect that Liam Bolden will probably make way for him in this contest.
Bennett. Conte. Incello. Keeps possession. Hills get clipped up, but he wins the free kick. And there will be a substitution. It looks like Kingston are going to empty their bench as well. And it looks like young Christos will come on for Hernan. And obviously another youngster that Nick Tolios has given faith to.
Yeah, definitely. Christos is quite a good young player. Usually plays in the fullback position, but definitely one to watch. Also another young, exciting player. So, look, Kingston City, one thing they have done over the last 2 seasons, give a lot of young players opportunities at NPL 1 level, which is something that you probably don't see enough of from some clubs. But it looks like Stefan Valentini's also made way for Joey Katabian. So, looks like Avondale going for blood here, really, to keep Boland and Katabian on the field.
Cello. Bennett. Delivers poorly. Conte. Poor pass, and Avondale can clear. But good forward press by Theo. Lundy. Throws it long. Cello. Fetahagic. Conte. Sakazara. Fetahagic. Sakazara. Cello. Sakazara. Bennett. Conte. There's a little bit better of a spell of possession for Kingston. Potentially a bit too late. Maybe they should have done this when they were 1-0 up, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, given that Avondale are sitting back and they do have 10 men, it's probably a little bit easier to keep possession of the ball, but they've done quite well here. And you never know, really. I mean, it's still 10 minutes to go. If they can find themselves a goal, you definitely think that we might be in for an exciting finish here. There's a shout for a handball there, but Avondale have kept it in and put it out for a throw-in.
Potential for a long throw in here, but no. Iconis. Katabian. Out-muscled by Iconis. Back to Bennett. Sakazada. Does well, but he's killed Bennett. But he's kept it in. Bennett clips it. Underhit it again. Sakazada. Oh, Sakazada's given away possession poorly, and Yusuf Ahmed could hit it on the counter-attack now. Avondale, it's 3v3 at the back. Ahmed cuts it. Sakaya is in, and he's put it wide. I really thought that was 4-1, Matty, in game, set, and match.
Yeah, Yusuf Ahmed really going for a gallop down that right-hand side, showing the type of speed that he does have and he does possess in his locker, and cutting the ball back, and Sakaya put that one wide of his Japanese counterpart Satoshi there, but Avondale thought they might have a 4th goal here as they really are just sitting back here in these last 7 or so minutes plus injury time. You'd probably imagine, given all the chaos that we did have in the last, in those 5-10 minute period, that we might get a couple of minutes of injury time. So Kingston City, if they can grab a goal here, they're still in with a chance, I reckon, to grab a draw.
Fetahagic. Out wide to Zweden. I've got no idea what that was, if it was a cross or a shot. But that's just hit someone's Porsche, and that's not going to leave a nice mark on it, is it, Matty?
Well, if you learned anything from last week's streams at the Box Hill Brunswick game, don't park your goal behind goals, because things get broken. So that Porsche copped a bit of a knock there from that football, but it's probably why you don't park behind goals. But Moswed's shot was very high and wide there, and you'd probably imagine they would need a little bit more quality in the final third if they want to draw themselves back into this contest in this remaining 5 or so minutes.
It's Chris Oldfield using his experience to run down the clock, moving the ball from one side of the box to the other. Oldfield sends it long. Fetahagic wins possession and puts it over the top. Theo's one possession. Zwed. The ball's bouncing around and Oldfield will come and collect and run down the clock even more. He's put his foot through that and he's leathered it. Fetahagic wins the header. Conte. Gramano wins possession and Lundy will go all the way back to Oldfield. Safazakazada wins it. Katabian. Still Katabian. Back to Lundy. Gramano. All the way back to Oldfield and he sends it high and goalkeeper comes and clears it. 50-50 in the middle. Gramano wins. Ahmed. Fetahagic, but Sakai tries to win it. Ahmed. Kingston with numbers around the ball. Conte. Backwards to Bennett. Out wide now to young Christos. That's a poor pass. And Avondale regain possession and Jack Morgan gets in Challo's way, but Avondale keep possession. Katabian. Gramano. Lundy. Gramano. Katabian. Theo wins it and finds Fetahagic. Iconis. Sakai wins possession and Iconis gives away a free kick and a bit of afters as well. And 3 or so minutes left, Matty. You think it's game over, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Kingston City probably need to lift the intensity and turn the temperature up a little bit if they want to get back into this contest, because that ball movement is probably just a little bit too slow if they're trying to pinch a goal out of this game. But they need to lift it and really just, I think, throw everything but the kitchen sink into this one, because really if you're going to go down, you might as well go down fighting in this game. So probably for Kingston, you probably just go out all that really in these last couple of minutes and just try and pinch a goal and probably hope that that unsettles Avondale enough. But you'd imagine with the way things are going now, as Boland breaks away here.
Sakaya tries to find Katabian, but he's overhit it. Or maybe it was a pass and to keep it in the corner. Who knows? Lundy. Katabian. Ahmed on top of the box. Back to Katabian out wide. And he'll go back to Lundy. Still Lundy. Ahmed. Katabian. Katabian's done well and he's killed Matty Reid, and Kingston can break here. Iconis wins a free kick. And an opportunity for Kingston to get the numbers into the box. Bennett plays short to Cello. Zwed. Zwed delivers. Sakazada. turns, shoots, saved by Oldfield and go out for a corner. A little bit better by Kingston. Opportunity now. Play it short. Zwed delivers. Ball's still in the 6-yard box. Oldfield comes and punches. Iconis on the top of the box. Iconis shoots, and it's just gone over the bar. And that is the moment. Great goalkeeping by Chris Oldfield to come out and punch, Matty.
Yeah, Oldfield did well there to come out and clear that ball and punch that ball away, but Iconis' shot ultimately just didn't have enough dip on it to find the back of the net. And you'd probably imagine now, given that we are approaching the 90th minute, that this game potentially may be dead and buried unless Kingston can try and pinch a goal back here. But I'm probably to say that this game is probably all wrapped up here, and it looks like Avondale Heights are going to walk away with all 3 points in this contest.
Ahmed. And Fetahagic kicks it out and will go out for a corner, and Avondale will go back to Avenger Park with 3 points and potentially rebuild their mid-season slump. And the fourth official has indicated 5 minutes, so there's still plenty of time for Kingston with the chance here, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. And Avondale obviously have a very big game next week against South Melbourne, who, you know, are probably going to be looking to try and pick up some points at home. And then they do have a contest against Pascoe Vale and Green Gully therefore after that. And I guess the big juicy game is on July 5th, the return to Knight Stadium in that FFA Cup qualifying rematch against the Melbourne Knights, which I'm sure Avondale are still quite unhappy with the result of that contest. And as for Kingston City, they've got a big game against Oakley Cannons next week at Oakley. Obviously, Oakley Cannons, I think, finished up 5-2 at the Dandenong Thunder. And then they've got a real tough stretch. They've got 3 away games now. They've got to back up that game against South Melbourne. Then they've got to go to Paisley Park to face the high-flying Altona Magic. So a tough 3 games ahead for Kingston City, but they will, in the end, need to try and pick up some points out of those games if they really want to stay with the pack and not fall away too far as the season goes on.
Christos. Had to queer out back to Christos. And Avondale will just send it over to Katabian. Still Katabian going for a bit of a gallop. Antiquera has done extremely well, and there's a bit of a kick out there as well. Potentially, if Jack Morgan sees that, mate, it's a yellow card.
Yeah, a bit of afters there between Katabian and David Antiquera, but nothing comes of it in the end. As Kingston really pushing forward, as there's still about 4 minutes of injury time remaining in this contest. So Kingston City definitely trying to lift the intensity and urgency to try and get a goal back in this game.
Conte. In Cello. He's given away possession, and Armand will go back to Oldfield, who will put his foot through it and potentially hit the corner. And Boland is in behind, but Bennett does well. Conte. Still Conte. Back all the way back to the goalkeeper. It just looks like no urgency from him at all, and sends it high to Zwed. Fantastic pass. And it's 3 left from Jack Morgan. Interesting times, Matty. Interesting times. And how this game turned so dramatically from a red card for Avondale to a scoring 2 goals. And obviously, that's a yellow card for Gramano for time wasting.
Yeah, really a chaotic period of, 5 or so minutes where Scotty Hillier got a straight red card, and Kingston City were probably licking their lips thinking, oh, great, we're going to get an opportunity to get a winner in this game. But then 2 penalty calls, one for handball and one for, I believe, being dragged down in the boxes, gave them 2 penalties and really gifted almost Avondale the game in the end. And look, if you're Kingston City, probably you feel a little bit hard done by because they did everything right in this game and kept Avondale at bay, and then really those 2 penalty calls really didn't help them. And Liam Boland found the back of the net twice, past Satoshi to seal really what you'd probably think is going to be all 3 points in this contest. So if you're Kingston City, probably unhappy. If you're Avondale, you'll take it because that means that they will cement their spot atop of NPL 1. And obviously, as the season goes on and with the NPL National Finals looming, you'd still want to make sure that you still finish in that top position given the start that Avondale have had to this season.
But the Hagic just headers that across, but Kingston City with no numbers in the middle of the box. And Oldfield just running down the clock. There's not long left at all, Matty. Not long left at all. Oldfield high and long, and that's potentially brought Snow down with it. But Boland underneath it again, and he'll go out for a goal kick. And Avondale have shown great character this evening, Matty, to come from behind, down to 10 men to win this. And I think that's the difference between the team that's sitting top of the ladder and sitting last.
Look, I think Avondale were persistent throughout this game. They never stopped, and they did push throughout it. And sometimes you need a little bit of luck to fall your way, and they definitely did get that tonight. And that luck was enough to see them really probably seal out the 3 points as we ended the last 40 seconds of this contest. But look, they were persistent even though, and look, I think the old saying is good teams, they win when they play bad. So, look, Avondale didn't play so well tonight, but they managed to find a way to win. And I guess that's probably why they are top of the ladder.
Christos with a chance shot, but straight at Oldfield, and very tame effort at the end. And Jack Morgan blows for full time here at the Grange. And Avondale go back home to Avenger Park with 3 points, a massive 3 points. And Kingston season now looks very dull and doom, and it's going to be a long road home, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've really got some tough games coming up, and that result tonight really hasn't helped them too much because they have now they're 4 points behind Pascoe Vale in the playoff position, but they're 5 points behind the high-flying Dandenong City, who really are in fine form in recent weeks. So for Kingston City, they're going to need a little bit of luck to fall their way in the next couple of games and try and pick up some points because the season is getting on and the gap is getting slightly bigger, but last week's result against Dandenong Thunder probably doesn't mean much now, given that they have now backed it up with a loss against Avondale, which they probably will feel hard done by in this contest. But for Avondale, they extend their lead to 4 points atop of NPL 1 Victoria, obviously only with the one loss of the season. So that's 40 goals for them this season and 37 points. So they're flying right now. They're back to winning ways, and some big games ahead in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you for joining us this evening here at the Grange Reserve on the YouTube live streams, and we do apologise for the Facebook live streams cutting out. Hope you have a great Saturday night and a great long weekend.